So welcome to today's daily practice and special edition. So today we'll be debunking some mindfulness myths, the subtle misconceptions we have. So welcome to this daily practice. And today, while we dive into some of the most sneaky misconceptions about mindfulness, just be aware that this is just a reflection and this is not truth in the sense of how it can go. But these aren't also the usual myths, like mindfulness is about emptying your mind. We are going to go a little bit deeper than that. So if you're ready to challenge what you think you know about mindfulness and meditation and self-help in general, let's get started. So the first myth is this idea that mindfulness requires you to be completely detached. So let's start with this big one. The idea that mindfulness requires you to be completely separate. And this is a subtle misconception, often comes from the belief that mindfulness is about being indifferent or unaffected by emotions or experiences. People think that to be mindful means to watch life happen from a distance, like a passive observer, like some stars in the sky. They don't really do much from around here. But that's not the reality. So mindfulness, when we practice we do, is about presence. It's not about detachment or absence. It's about fully experiencing emotions, whatever it is, joy, sadness, anger, fear, without being consumed or controlled by them. It's about feeling deeply while staying grounded. And as much as you'd like to think, a mindful person is not a robot. They feel pain, joy, sorrow, sadness, everything in between. And I would even argue that they would feel it even more strongly than others who may not be practicing such mindfulness-based exercises. So they don't push these feelings away, they work with them. They let the emotions flow, observe them, try to change them if that is required, if not, letting it go or letting it be. So think about it. When you're sad, being mindful doesn't mean suppressing sadness or pretending it doesn't exist. It means acknowledging it. This is sadness, feels heavy in my chest right now, and then allowing it to be, without the urge to fix or change anything immediately. So I remember a time when I was really overwhelmed with anxiety before giving a presentation. I thought, if I were truly mindful, I wouldn't be anxious. And I realized mindfulness wasn't about avoiding anxiety. The things I was about to talk in the presentation, I felt like, I was not practicing it. It was about being present with it. And I took a few deep breaths, acknowledged the tightness in my stomach, the butterflies and everything. I simply observed it. And the anxiety didn't really go away, but the relationship changed. The dynamics of the relationship changed. And that's what I do nowadays in order to work with anxious emotions, is to let it be. Notice the sensations in the body. So let's send this myth to rest. Mindfulness isn't about detachment. It is about being fully present or fully human. Now let's go into the myth 2. Mindfulness is about fixing yourself. Now this is a subtle one, and it hides in plain sight. So idea that when we practice mindfulness, you have to fix yourself. This is sneaky because, let's face it, most of us turn to mindfulness when we are struggling, stress, anxiety, all of that. That's how I got into mindfulness. And while mindfulness can help with all these, its purpose is not to fix you. And this is a sneaky one because I got into this habit of, mindfulness can fix everything. Mindfulness helped me in certain ways, so I think it is going to change me, fix me, whatever. What it is a self-awareness tool. It's not a self-improvement tool. It's about seeing yourself clearly, accepting yourself as you are, without the need to be better or more productive. This can be hard to follow for people who may have been obsessed with this world of self-optimization, and we are conditioned to see everything as a problem to solve, including ourselves. But mindfulness kind of invites us in a different direction, to let go of this need to fix, and instead embracing who you are, flaws and all. So think about it. What if there was nothing wrong with you? What if your anxiety, your doubts, your flaws were problems to fix, but simply parts of you being human? Now, there's a difference between not fixing and changing. There's a difference. And how would you change the way you treat yourself? So this is the myth, which is really difficult to unravel, because we come here to fix or change or do something, not change necessarily, but we come here to fix things. So next time you meditate, notice if you are secretly hoping a better version of yourself to emerge, and if you are, just gently let that expectation be part of the practice. Notice that expectation. Where is it? Where is it in the body? How is it manifested? And just be present with it. No fixing, no improving. As always, we say just being human. Myth number 3. Mindfulness will make you more productive. This is the counter. Here's a myth that is very popular, especially now. This is now taken over a lot of areas: arts, films, music, name it, even in business cultures, in sports, in news, in emergency rooms, in hospitals. All of this, mindfulness is starting to enter into all these spheres, and this incredible tool has this myth which is propagated, which says that if you practice mindfulness, you will automatically become productive, more productive. And as we know that when we practice, let's be real, sometimes we can enhance our focus and reduce stress, which might lead to productivity. But productivity isn't the purpose. Mindfulness is about cultivating this joyful, loving awareness we talk about, and presence, and not efficiency. So when we approach this mindfulness as a productivity hack, we risk turning it into another tool for output. So it's not just about being anymore, it's about doing, which is the kind of opposite of what it is supposed to be through the ancient wisdom. So it's about experiencing life fully, as we always say, and not squeezing more tasks in throughout the day, just being mindful about how busy your calendar is and things like that. So imagine yourself practicing, say for example, mindful eating exercise. You're really savoring each bite. You're like in the moment. And the goal may not be to eat faster or more efficiently. It's about the taste. It's about the texture. It's about the nourishment. It's about the attitudes. And same goes for mindful living. It's not about getting more done. But you may end up getting things done, but it's not about it. It's about being present for the task at hand. If you're sitting and just breathing and you're noticing your breath, that's the task at hand. So if you find yourself practicing mindfulness to become, say, more productive version, ask yourself, can I allow myself to just be without the need to produce or achieve? That's the real mindfulness challenge. Myth number 4. If you are doing it right, you won't get distracted. So that is the myth number 4. So in this myth, this is another tricky myth. And this happens to seasoned meditation practitioners. So if you're doing mindfulness right, there's this idea that you won't get distracted. And this one is tricky because it feeds into our idea of perfectionism. We think a good meditation is one where our mind is completely here, like a laser beam. But here's the truth. Distraction is a natural part of mindfulness practice. Now, where's the difference? The difference between a distracted mind is attachment. So you attach yourself to this distracted mind, and then you start to go on the journey the distracted mind wants to go. But what happens in mindfulness practice, and which you have also practiced, is what we do to interrupt this. So when we know we are distracted, we simply come back. And your mind is wired to wander, so it's a feature of our being, constantly scanning the environment for threats or opportunities. So getting distracted isn't failure. It's actually a feature. It's actually biology. So in fact, every time you notice a distraction and gently bring your focus back, you're strengthening your mindfulness muscle. And it's like going to the gym, and I wouldn't labor this. I wouldn't say this as often. The practice isn't about staying focused. It's about noticing when you are not, and coming back to it with kindness and patience. So I remember during this meditation retreat, my mind kept replaying the moment, the argument I had. I spent about half an hour or more in that loop. I think I spent half an hour. And I finally realized, wow, I am terrible at this. This is not for me. But then the teacher said something that changed a little bit of my mind. The moment you notice you are distracted is the moment of mindfulness. And that kind of changed. Okay, so it's not about getting distracted, it's about noticing them. Then my mind started to notice things. And distraction is no longer the enemy. So next time you catch yourself distracted, instead of saying it was failure, practice, there you are, mind. There you are, wandering mind. Gently come back and notice how that feels. Does that soften your experience? So try it out for yourself. So let's bust this as well. Mindfulness isn't about perfect focus. It's about noticing when your mind wanders and bringing it back again and again with compassion. That's where the real growth happens. Myth number 5. Mindfulness means you shouldn't desire or strive for anything. This is probably the most difficult one. This comes from the idea that mindfulness is about non-attachment. And yes, mindfulness teaches us not to cling to outcomes or possessions. But non-attachment doesn't mean you shouldn't have dreams, goals, ambitions, desires. It means being aware of them without letting them control you. So mindfulness helps us relate to our desires with awareness. It's about notice the wanting, the craving and striving, and choosing how to respond rather than reacting out of habit. So this doesn't mean giving up ambition or settling for mediocrity. It means pursuing your goals with clarity and balance. It's about striving without suffering. And there's this aspect of non-striving as well, but that is kind of slightly different. This striving is your own personal things you want to do. So think of a musician practicing their piece. They decide to play it beautifully, but they are also present with each note, fully immersed in the process. They are actually striving, but they are not suffering. That's like the dynamics you want to have in your life. Yes, you want to get somewhere, but you're not attached with the outcome, but you are fully immersed in the process. And this is also a saying like which has been said many times is trust the process, not the outcome. And I think that trusting the process is fine. I think it's about trusting the right process and how you are approaching the process. So you can have a great process, but if you're not approaching it in a way which holds you, which helps you, and it could be unique for you, then the process itself is not as important. The common trap is to think, if I were truly mindful, I wouldn't want anything. I'd be perfectly content with what I have. And this could be true for a small minority of people out there. But for most of us, that's not mindfulness, that is just suppressing. Mindfulness invites us to acknowledge our desires and explore them with our curiosity. Why do I want this? Will it truly fulfill me? Or am I chasing a feeling that's already within me? So here's another practical tip you can try next time you feel strong desire for something. Whether it's for a new job, a new gadget, or even someone's approval. Pause and notice the sensations of wanting. Where do you feel it in your body? Is there tightness, excitement? Is there a sense of frustration, relentlessness? And just observe it. Simply paying attention to all of what is happening. This helps you understand your desires more, and with kindness, compassion, and saying to yourself, this is okay. Feeling this is okay. And then the most important step is to choose. Now you can choose mindfully whether to engage in this activity or not. And if you engage it, do it mindfully. Bring full mindful awareness to whatever it is that you do. So let's Let go of this myth as well, that mindfulness isn't about any desires, or it's about relating to desires with awareness, so we can pursue our dreams without getting lost in them. So to end this session, let's just do a guided practice. So observing desire without attachment. Let's start. So close your eyes and take a deep breath. And slowly exhale. And bring to mind something you desire right now. It could be something big, like a life goal, or something small, like something comfort, like wanting a cup of coffee. And notice how this desire feels in your body. Is there tightness, excitement, or restlessness? And allow the feeling to be there without trying to push it away or act on it. Just observe. Where is this feeling? Maybe you feel it in your face, or your body, or your lower extremities. Maybe you feel a sense of dis-ease. So the opposite of ease. Maybe you feel discomfort. I invite you to simply notice whatever is happening in the body. Ask yourself, is this desire rooted in lack, or is it a genuine inspiration? Notice the difference. One comes from scarcity and the other from expansion. So take one more deep breath and slowly engage with your life. And this practice helps us to understand our desires more deeply and choose our actions with awareness. It's not about suppressing desire, but seeing it clearly. So desires are part of human. Mindfulness doesn't ask us to give them up. It invites us to relate to them more wisely. So if you found all of this enlightening, please share these myths with someone who might benefit. And if you are curious to explore more, join me in these live mindfulness sessions and follow me here, there, everywhere for daily insights and practices. So thank you for being here. And remember, mindfulness isn't about perfect focus or giving up desires. It's about living with awareness, intention, and compassion. Until next time, stay present and take care.